Happy Wednesday. I'm Linda Barger, your choir director. And I just want to tell you how much I love the blues. The Lord gave me a different kind of voice than the voice that sings the blues. But I'm telling you, my brother Steve, some of you know him, he could really sing the blues. He could play the harmonica, the keyboard, all the guitars, drums. But when he got on that harmonica and whined out those blues notes, I just loved to listen when he would let me. So today's song, today's hymn, has a blues note in it, even though my voice sounds more the classical type. That's just the type of voice God gave me. I wanted to sing the blues, but we'll see how it goes. Our Bible verse is, "Be strong and of good courage. Do not fear, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord your God, He is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you." Deuteronomy 31:6. The hymn we're going to learn about today is "Precious Lord, Take My Hand," written in 1932. Now, some of my friends in our church grew up during the big band era, and there was a big band leader called Tommy Dorsey. Well, guess what? Tommy Dorsey wrote "Precious Lord, Take My Hand," but it wasn't that Tommy Dorsey. It was his name was Thomas Andrew Dorsey. And I'm going to start reading to you exactly what it says. Some people think this great old gospel song was written by the famous big band leader Tommy Dorsey. It wasn't. The author was named Thomas Andrew Dorsey, and he was the son of a black revivalist preacher. Of course he was, because it has, like I said, it has that gospel feel to it. Thomas was born in a small town in Georgia in 1899. Now, my own grandmother, Mama Dixon, that loved Amazing Grace, she was born in 1888. So she was alive when this Thomas Dorsey was alive. When he was about 11, the Dorseys moved to Atlanta, where Thomas was quickly enamored with the blues. He fell in love with the blues like I did. The Dorseys, and he began playing piano at a vaudeville theater. And I just now told our friend Bo, who does so much for our church, I just now told him that Cherryville had a vaudeville theater and that vaudeville groups came to town, because my daddy Jack Cale would tell me that he had seen vaudeville, and someone would play the big old pipe organ in there, and they would have red velvet curtains. So this Tommy Dorsey was back then listening to vaudeville. Later, the family moved to Chicago. Have you ever heard of the Chicago blues? Chicago pizza? They moved to Chicago, where he attended classes at the College of Composition. My goodness, if he could go to college back in the 1800s, they weren't doing too bad, were they? And arranging. So he was at the College of Composition and Arranging. Soon, he was on stage under the name of Georgia Tom, because his name was Thomas, playing barrel house piano. I'm not quite sure what barrel house means, but I imagine it had that clanky, honky-tonk kind of sound on the piano. In one of Al Capone's Chicago speakeasies. My goodness, this man played in a place that was owned by Al Capone, and he ended up writing gospel music for God and leading jazz bands. Thomas was converted at the National Baptist Convention in Chicago in 1921, converted to Christ. And he began writing gospel songs and trying to get them published. It was discouraging at first, you can imagine, because his bent was toward the blues and those types of speakeasy places that he played. He later said, I borrowed $5 and sent out 500 copies of my song. The song was, If You See My Savior. And he sent that song to churches throughout the country. It was 3 years before he got one single little order. 3 years. After $5 was a lot for him. And he said, I felt like going back to the blues. Well, he didn't. And gradually, his reputation grew and his work became known. Became known. In August of 1932, while leading music in St. Louis, somebody came to see him and he had a telegram. And that telegram had the words on it, your wife just died. Well, he was mortified. He rushed to a phone to call home, but all he could hear over the line was, Nettie is dead, Nettie is dead. A friend drove him all through the night, and he arrived home to learn that his baby boy had also died. He said, I began to feel that God had done me an injustice. Thomas later said, I didn't want to serve him anymore. And I know sometimes things happen to all people that they feel disappointed and discouraged, and they might come to the point that they don't want to even serve God anymore. A few of those people, and that's the way Thomas felt, because he loved his family. He loved his Nettie and his baby, but they were taken away, much like Job's life had lost his family and all of his possessions, but he did not let that stop him from serving God. And Thomas said, I didn't want to serve him anymore, and I didn't want to write any more gospel songs. But the next Saturday, and you never know what's going to happen, because God comes to us first. He draws near to us, and then he draws us near to him. That's called prevenient grace. The next Saturday, while he was alone in a friend's music room, he had a strange feeling inside, a sudden calm and a quiet stillness. Now, how could he feel that when he just lost the most wonderful thing in the world to him, unless it was God's prevenient grace coming upon him? As my fingers began to manipulate over the keys, words began to fall in place on the melody like drops of water falling from the crevice of the rock. Precious Lord, take my hand. Lead me on. Let me stand. I am tired. I am weak. I am worn. Today, Thomas A. Dorsey is remembered as the father of gospel music. and the author of hundreds of gospel songs, including his equally famous Peace in the Valley. I'm sure you may have heard that sung by gospel quartets playing guitars. There will be peace in the valley. Well, Precious Lord, Take My Hand is the hymn we're focusing on today. The music was written by Thomas A. Dorsey, and the words were written by George N. Allen. Here are the words. Sometimes it's harder to hear words through singing the syllables in music, so I'm going to read them so you can hear all the words. And this was written after his wife and baby died. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, and he had driven all night to see the family. Lead me on to the light of Jesus. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. The second verse goes, when my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call. Hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on.
Lead me home.